Story of an accounting hack on Australia TPB supervised training. Video 3, Period of turmoil in my accounting career. After having worked for the motorcycle company for around 2.5 years, I was involuntarily involved in the power struggle of the company following the death of the founder of the business. In 1981, I found myself out of work. I then commenced a period of turmoil in my accounting career. I started to work for a series of accounting jobs in Melbourne. Here, I am talking about my life history dating back to over 30 years ago. It is perhaps the darkest period in my working career, one which I subconsciously wants to forget because I went through some of the toughest times in my life when I was forced to accept some indignities and humiliation to my personal ego. I shall try to recount some of the jobs that I undertook during this difficult period, but I have to admit that I may not be accurate in some of the facts because, like I said before, this had been one of the unsuccessful times that I subconsciously wants to forget. I remember that I had occasion to accept an office assistant job in a stock feeds company. Then, I also worked as practice manager for an ENT specialist, as accountant for a Ford motorcar dealership, and an accountant for a Jewish company. Some of them I resigned voluntarily and some of them I was given the boot. All of these jobs were of short duration. During this darkest period of my working life, I took refuge by spending as much time as I could manage to build up my accounting practice on a part-time basis as a registered tax agent. I attempted practically all the marketing tools available within my resources in collecting as many accounting clients as possible. I still remember how I took a packet of my business cards to a popular Asian supermarket, seeking permission to leave them at the counter in the hope that some of their customers may pick them up. I also tried to advertise my services in local newspapers, apart from dropping some handouts designed and printed by myself into letterboxes. But perhaps the most successful marketing strategy I adopted was by approaching a couple of Vietnamese banking officers introducing myself as an accountant and tax agent for some of the business clients looked after by the bank. Luckily, I managed to establish an amicable rapport with a friendly banking officer who was able to introduce a number of Vietnamese businessmen in Melbourne to me. I paid attention in looking after them and, through word-of-mouth referrals, I was able to build up my clientele in my small accounting practice. It took me a long time to build up my accounting practice and, looking back, I kicked myself for, later on, neglecting to put my heart and mind in looking after the accounting clients that I so difficult to establish, with the result that I lost most of them through my foolish neglect. The moral of my experience is, if we put our heart and mind to build up something, there is a good chance for us to succeed. On the other hand, if we do not look after our clients, they will leave us. In the next episode, I shall continue my story on how I worked for my last full-time paid employment as an employee, before I resigned to strike out to establish my own accounting and migration practice. Viewers are invited to subscribe and to visit our website at eEasyTax.com where you will find all published and unpublished episodes in this series.